This is Matt Brown, and you're listening to Just a Good Conversation. It's always amazing what you can find on YouTube. Several years ago, I was looking for a lawnmower for my Bermuda grass, and I found Ron Henry, a guy who loves talking about Bermuda grass, and growing Bermuda, and cutting Bermuda, seeding Bermuda. Hell, he even likes finding rocks in Bermuda grass. It got to the point where Ron started his own small business, Golf Course Lawn Academy. Man, Ron loves his Bermuda grass.
Great grass is a byproduct of great soil and good cultural practices. Not, that's if people got to really internalize that, they'd get their lawns looking a lot better, a lot faster.
I'm Matt Brown, host of Just a Good Conversation. Take a listen to our archives. My guests have ranged from college coaches, a Silver Star recipient, and photographer Paul Rodriguez.
Photographers nowadays that don't have the passion, they want to do something like this, but they don't want to invest the time and the energy to get to where they want to get.
Go to justagoodconversation.com for all our archives. Let's take a quick break for a sponsor before diving into my conversation with Ron Henry. Ron, thank you for taking the time for me to talk about grass. How you doing?
Yeah, no, great, Matt. I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
Hey, like I said, real quick, I am pumped that I got somebody on who I've actually been following for quite some time. It's interesting. A lot of my guests are either friends or people in the industry, but I've been slowly stalking you of interest on the internet and through your YouTube channel because you and I have the same passion for Bermuda grass.
Nice. Yeah, I mean that's if I have to have a stalker, one that's associated with lawn care is not a bad one to have, right?
Right. And I'm 3,000 miles away, so we're good.
All right.
No, I don't know about you, but where did you grow up, and where did growing up, did that shape your lawn experience? Because it did for me.
Yeah. So believe it or not, if most people had to guess where I grew up, they're probably going to get it wrong. I actually grew up in the Caribbean. That's where I'm from. My dad is from Antigua. My mother's from Trinidad, and I grew up on an island. Yeah.
That's awesome.
If you look at everyone is sort of St. Martin's. If you look at St. Martin on a map, you have St. Martin in the Caribbean, and then also St. Kitts. And if you look in between those two islands, so between St. Martin and St. Kitts, there's a little dot that's on most maps is not even named, and it's an island called St. Eustatius. That's where I grew up. And when I was a kid, my dad every weekend, they own some property there, so every weekend we have to go out and mow lawns and this kind of thing. And, I have to admit when I was a kid, I hated doing it, absolutely hated doing it. But then as you grow older, one of the ironies of life is you turn into your parents, unfortunately.
Of course.
Right. Yeah. So now, that's how it started.
Was there a lot of Bermuda grass around, or was it just all kinds of grass?
All different types of grass. Yeah, I mean, there was some Bermuda, but largely all different types of grass. Bermuda grows actually very well in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
It's great heat, lots of sunlight. That's the things that it really likes, so it does very well there.
Yeah. I mean, my love of Bermuda started with my grandfather. He had it in his backyard, and he had a putting green all throughout his yard. And I thought, this grass is the best grass. It doesn't itch. It feels great on your toes. You can play badminton on it. And I learned how to play golf on it. And I was just like, when I ever have a lawn, it's going to look just like this.
Yeah. That's definitely being in Georgia. That's most golf course fairways, and I mean Bermuda is the grass type. I mean even Augusta National, a lot of people don't realize that when you see the Masters, you're seeing it when it's been overseeded with rye, but the base grass for Augusta is actually Bermuda.
Sure, right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
How did you then find your way into lawn care?
So a lot of it was eventually bought a house just probably 6 or 7 years ago at this point. And it was a piece of property that had a fairly large lawn. I thought, this could look really cool, if I really started taking care of it. So at first, believe it or not, actually for the first couple of months, I had a service mowing the grass for me, and I hated the way it looked. So that's how I went out and I decided to start taking care of it myself. There was a neighbor. How I got into reel mowing, there was a neighbor that lived like 2 doors down, and he had a True Cut reel mower, and his front lawn was pristine. It looked like a golf course tee box.
Just beautiful.
And, just beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And he was out there mowing, and I said, I said, how do you get your lawn to look like this? He says, well, you got to use a reel mower. You got to, that's going to be the trick to really getting Bermuda looking great. So I started doing tons of research on it. I first, got a Scott 16-inch to see if that was going to be my thing, like a manual reel mower.
Right.
I did that for like a season. Then I upgraded to the 20-inch, and the rest is kind of history. From there, now I own like 2 powered reel mowers. One's like a True Cut, one's a greens mower, and it's just kind of
that's real stuff. Yeah, you got some real stuff there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you didn't go to school for it. You didn't like become a lawn guy in a company. It was just you wanted your grass in your house to be better.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I don't have a formal background in lawn care. I'm not an agronomist. Since getting more into this, I've made quite a few friends, both in the golf course industry and also in just professional turf and agronomy as well. I've learned a lot from that I can bounce ideas off of, and a lot of what you see on the channel is some of it's through experimentation I've done myself, but also from information I've just asked some of the experts and gotten their opinion and tested it, and I like the results. Yeah,
it looks great. I mean, absolutely looks great. I mean, that's a slippery slope though. If you go from the 16-inch and you're like, oh, I'm going to try the 20, and then you got a big yard, as everybody who's seen you on YouTube, and it's like that can be a lot of work. At what point did you decide, like, okay, I'm going to get rid of my service and I'm going to be committed to this?
So once I made my first couple of mows with just a manual reel mower, and I saw how much better the grass looked, and I said, wow, I mean, this is a lot more work. So I'm out there mowing it, 3 times a week. But I realized that there's no way I could pay someone to do this. Like, I mean, I figure if I had to pay someone to mow my lawn as much as I do, it would be cost prohibitive, and it still wouldn't look quite as good, I don't think, right?
No, never. It's your lawn, so you care.
Exactly. So I looked at how it was coming along, how it was developing. I said, man, I've got to have this, and and the rest is history. I called them up and I said, hey, listen, love you guys to pieces, but I'm gonna start doing this myself. And the rest is history. No hard feelings. They completely understood.
Yeah. But at some point you wanted to take over your baby, your lawn.
Absolutely.
So then where does the progress get into making it then a business? Because that's a huge another step. I mean, there's one thing if Ron decides this is my grass, I take it under my wing. It's another thing to be like, let me show people and then let me sell stuff.
Yeah, so absolutely. So the idea behind the business. So if you look at it, there's a couple different aspects of it, right? So there's the YouTube portion of it, which is like YouTube AdSense, which is just based on the number of views that a video gets. But really, the what turned into what is now the Golf Course Lawn Store and also Golf Course Lawn Academy, which was my training course and also the supporting course, was like over the past couple of years, like my main mission was to have my grass look as good as possible. That was it. Bar none. I wanted to use the same stuff on my lawn that was rated for residential use, but the same stuff that was used in the golf course industry. Mm-hmm. So that meant like seeking out the best fertilizers and seeking out like the best both from a granular and liquid standpoint, starting doing a lot of soil testing and just doing all the things that turf professionals do, right? So people that are serious about their turf, the kind of things that they do.
But you said like soil testing. Who told you or taught you this is what you need to do? That's a huge thing.
Yes, that's a great point. So one of my friends, he's now a great friend, is works in the professional turf industry. He's he's retired now, but he was a golf course superintendent for many years. And he says, Ron, your grass looks good. You're doing a great job with it. This was a couple of years ago. It looks great, but if you start incorporating soil testing to where you're actually measuring what's going on in the soil, you're gonna get that X factor, because while you can go down to Home Depot and just buy whatever's off the aisle and throw it down and get a decent result, soil testing is literally the answers to the test. That's the way what exactly your soil needs. Is then I started seeking out different types of soil tests,
right?
And I came across a company called My Soil that makes a test that's really easy to use, really easy to understand, get your results quickly, and fell in love with it. And I've been doing it quarterly ever since.
Yeah,
great.
Because people forget that there's something under that grass that is really the whole genesis. If you got bad dirt, bad soil, I don't care what your grass is going to do. It's just not going to work.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, you got to figure like grass, grass is a plant and plants grow in soil. So it would make sense that we want to focus on getting creating the best possible soil as possible, right? So in other words, great grass is a byproduct of great soil and good cultural practices. Not, that's if people got really internalized that, they'd get their lawns looking a lot better, a lot faster.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know there's so many people, especially like in my neighborhood, like we just put new lawn in my mom's, and I was like, whoa. First thing we got to do, we got to take care of this dirt. Like your dirt's horrible. You got rocks and crump, and we got to get it all out and put you some real soil in there. And people forget that. They just go, oh, let's get some lawn, throw it down. Or throw down seed and then just walk away.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things. So one of the things that I've done with my lawn too, right? And this is partially due to having like some damage from having to have some trees removed. Is I have what I've done what many people will consider to be a cardinal sin when it comes to Bermuda, right? Which is overseeding Bermuda with another type of Bermuda. I can't tell you how much grief I get from people on that. And it's something that I don't really encourage many people to do, because when it comes to seed, a lot of people think I just go down to Home Depot and get some seed and throw it down and it's going to make everything better. But actually, when it comes to warm season grass like Bermuda, like seed is the hardest way. Literally, that is hard mode. That is the hardest way to get your grass to look great, because it takes so much water, so much care. The soil's got to be in great shape. So for warm season grass, establishing it from seed is much more difficult than, say, a rye or Kentucky, or like a Kentucky bluegrass or a fescue or things along those lines.
Right. So were you always going to be committed though to Bermuda when you first started out, when you got to your house, or was there some point like you said, I love this grass, so I'm going to stay with it instead of going some other plant?
I think so. Yeah, you know why? Because Bermuda is like the redheaded stepchild of the warm season grasses, right? A lot of people, in some places, it's considered a weed. And the thing that was attractive to me about Bermuda was this, right? Is that it heals from damage faster than most other grasses. So in other words, as far as like a grass to experiment with and try all kinds of different cutting heights and just to play around with, Bermuda is an excellent grass for that, because it bounces back from damage so quickly. You have something like the zoysia, which again is a gorgeous grass type. Looks absolutely gorgeous, but you got to be really careful. If you burn a zoysia lawn, or if you get like a fungus infection in it, or some other like physical damage, you're talking several months for that to recover. So, once I saw the results I could get with Bermuda, I just stuck with it. And I figure, if it's good enough for golf courses, it's good enough for me.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you got thousands of people in carts driving all over that stuff.
That's it. Yeah. That's exactly it.
Your wife and kids and the dog can, beat it up, and at least it'll still be beautiful.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, this past weekend, lighting fireworks off on it, people playing cornhole and doing everything. And if you saw it today, you would not know anything ever happened to it.
You gotta love Bermuda. Now,
I love Bermuda.
Does yours go dormant in the winter?
It does. My lawn stays green much longer than the neighboring lawns, primarily because of that overseeding that I've done. So
okay.
My Bermuda is a type called Tifway 419. It's very, very common. But I also added a different cultivar on top of it called Arden 15, which has much greater cold tolerance. So my lawn, there are some parts of my lawn that never fully went dormant, even throughout winter, even though we got into the 20s sometimes this past year.
Wow.
But, yeah. So it's pretty incredible. It wasn't growing very much, but as far as like being able to see like a haze of green throughout the entire lawn, there's some areas that never fully went away, even throughout the winter months.
Jeez. Yep. Yeah. Mine just goes, because it's just no sun and I got trees and all kinds of stuff going on, and we just got chickens. My kids wanted chickens. And so, yeah, my grass is in desperate need of Ron help. But
I hear you. I mean, you can make it better. You're already paying attention to it, so it'll get better.
Every man can make his lawn better. That's the thing. That's the project. That's where you come in.
Yep. Absolutely.
What 5 tips can you give to help a regular family have a better lawn?
Okay, so 5 tips that anybody can do. So the first thing, and again, it's going to go back to soil testing, is I would get a soil test done, because that's going to drive what fertilizer and how we treat the soil, which is ultimately going to produce better grass. So first thing is soil testing. Now, is that in-house? You get it and they'll tell you what you need, or do you got to ship it somewhere and get results back? Exactly. So if you were to go to like my store and get like the soil test kit, it's one from My Soil. Literally, you just got to go throughout your lawn, you get like a probe tool and pull up 10 or so cores from all around the lawn.
Okay.
You mix it up and throw it into this little container they give you, and you mail it out. And literally within a week, you'll have your results sent to you via email. And it'll tell you exactly, here's where your lawn is. This is where all the different levels should be, and even offer some recommendations on what products you can use to get there.
Yeah.
So really, really easy.
Okay. That's a good one. All right. Start with soil.
Yep. So great soil. Start with soil. The next thing I'd say is focus on really being able to use the lawn care equipment that you have properly. So pretty much everybody has like a broadcast spreader, or some people even have like a backpack sprayer.
Uh-huh.
But knowing how much product your sprayer puts out or your spreader puts out based on your walking pace is really important, right? It's the difference between putting too much product down or not enough product down. So getting familiar with your lawn care equipment, the stuff that you probably already have in your garage, is going to be another big tip.
Is that a huge mistake people make, putting too much or too little?
Oh, definitely, absolutely. I mean, people think that more fertilizer is better, and it is and it's not, because too much will burn the grass, and even if you go a little bit heavier than you're supposed to, you end up creating a problem where the grass starts growing like crazy, which means you need to mow more. So you really want to give the grass what it needs, and no more. Kind of like your body, right? You could eat just one huge meal and let that last you for a couple of, a day or so, or a day or two, but it's not going to be as good as small, evenly spaced meals that, have a good balance of nutrition.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So number 3, after we've put down the proper fertilizer.
Proper fertilizer. So the third one is going to be focus on minimizing shade wherever possible in your lawn. So especially if you have a warm season grass, like Bermuda, like I've said in my podcast and said in many videos, like Bermuda will grow in concrete. It'll grow, it'll grow in sand. The one place Bermuda will not grow, and most warm season grasses will not grow, is shade.
Sure.
So so if I get a lot of email and correspondence from viewers where they have issues in their lawn. They're saying, hey, these areas are thin and I don't know what's going on. And I say, well, is it right next to the house, or do you have some kind of a shade issue with trees? And they say, oh yeah, we got some really big oak trees in the lawn. I'm like, well, that's going to be your problem. So minimizing shade is a hugely important one.
Okay. Yeah, because it's going to need its sun. I mean, let's be frank. It needs its damn sun.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you think about it, like the sunlight. That's gonna drive it drives the engine of everything. It's what helps the lawn to produce chlorophyll, which helps it produce turns the grass green. Heat from the sun, in addition to providing light, also gets heat down on the actual soil, which stimulates some more microbial activity, which makes your fertilizers work better. I mean, sunlight is the key. Like I'd say even more important than having great soil when it comes to Bermuda in particular is making sure you have adequate sunlight. Because Bermuda, unlike most grasses, is not terribly picky about things other than sunlight. You got to have tons of light.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So people are chopping down their trees for their Bermuda. What's number 4?
Number 4 is watering. So most people, get this part wrong. They think that the more water I put on my lawn, the better it's going to be. And that's, nothing could really be further from the truth. Most grass, especially like Bermuda, doesn't really need much more than an inch of water per week. So Bermuda, really, if it rains really heavily, you can skip that week. And if it's, if you get like a little light shower, you can put a little bit more water on it, a day or two throughout the week and call it good. So you really don't need to put too much water on the grass, because that promotes a lot of different problems. One, you get like shallower roots. The root system isn't as strong as it should be. And then, believe it or not, like around this time of year where there's a lot of heat, if you have too much moisture, where the soil is always damp, it can promote fungus problems. So just enough, but not so much that the ground is always saturated and that you create promote fungus issues. If anything, I'd prefer a person to slightly underwater their lawn than overwatering, because overwatering creates a ton of problems.
Yeah, people don't realize you don't want to be swampy under there.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Now, okay, that's interesting. So I don't know what number 5 is yet, but you say 3 and 4 are sun and water, and you would think those are the 1 and 2 most important things. So what's number 5?
Well, number 5 is actually the most important one, but I want to save the best for last, and that's mowing. It's really, the more you mow your lawn, the more you mow your lawn, the better it's going to look. Like, most people only mow their lawn once every couple of weeks. Or I always say, if you're the person that mows your lawn right before the house association sends you a letter about it, you're not mowing enough, right?
Yeah.
So if you exactly, so
if you're getting notifications, that's not good.
That's not good. Not good at all. You know, in other words, you need to mow your grass even when it doesn't look like it needs to be mowed. If your grass looks like, wow, it needs to be cut, you waited too long. So if most people will increase their mowing to say just twice a week, and I know that sounds like a lot, but like if you do all those other things, let's say, you know, you get a soil test done, you're fertilizing properly, you know, you understand your equipment, you got good sunlight, you're watering properly, but you're not mowing the grass frequently enough, it's just your lawn's going to be all right. The grass is going to be green, but it's never really going to look good. Like the big thing that separates a golf course, in addition to, you know, them, you know, spending an astronomical amount of money on fertilizer and things like that, is that golf courses get mowed every day. Like the greens get mowed twice a day.
Oh yeah.
So so mowing is the secret sauce to having great looking turf. So it's something that people don't really think about. And, you know, for most people, fortunately, it's free. You know, outside of your time, you've already got a mower. As long as you make sure you keep your mower sharp and, you know, your equipment's in good repair, you know, get out there and mow. You cannot mow enough.
Yes.
Mow enough.
Now you just hit a key word a lot of people forget. Keep your mower sharp.
Yep.
Absolutely. People just think, oh, I bought a mower and it's going to stay good for 5 or 6 years. Not a chance.
No, not at all. I mean, you know, it's unfortunate. Like most people that have rotary mowers anyway, you know, the only time the mower was sharp is when they took it out of the box, right?
Right.
But really, if you're serious about this, a rotary mower, you're going to be sharpening it during the growing season, you know, once a month, once every 6 weeks. Believe it or not, it is long to do. But keeping a sharp blade also like has a lot to do with the appearance of your lawn. Like a quick story. You know, my next door neighbor, Alex, who last year when I did a series on helping a neighbor transform a lawn, I called it the Fix My Ugly Lawn series, like 15 videos where we took his lawn from normal, like ordinary, to extraordinary. And then this year, you know, he didn't get his real mower sharpened at the beginning of the season. He thought, it's still working well. There's no issues with it. And literally his lawn looked good, but there was all brown, a little bit hazy. And what it was is the mower was actually doing damage. You know, by making sure your mower is sharp, it's going to cut the grass blades nice and evenly, and it's going to allow the grass overall to heal faster from the damage that is mowing. So, you know, he went out, got his mower sharpened, and literally within a week, Matt, within 1 week, like the lawn completely turned around. Like as far as the color, just the appearance of it overall, huge difference. So mow a lot, but also make sure you keep your equipment sharp. That's a really, really important part of getting a great result with your lawn.
Yeah, it goes from actually cutting it clean to shredding it. Like you don't want it shredded.
Not at all. Yeah. Not at all. It'd be like cutting your hair with it's a good example, but like, you know, cutting vegetables or cutting something with like a dull knife versus
left-handed
a very, very
scissors.
sharp knife.
Yeah, left-handed scissors too at that. Good luck.
And left-handed scissors, that too.
yeah, it's not going to look good. Yeah,
not at all.
I think people really forget the blade, the sharpen the lawnmower thing. So that's actually good. Yep. That's a big one. So then, when did you decide I'm taking my show onto YouTube?
So I started on YouTube, really when I started getting more results with it. When I got my Scott's Green, my push reel mower.
You're 16.
That's why I decided, the 16-inch, you know, I hadn't upgraded yet. I started with my basic 16.
Yeah.
That's when I said, you know what, I want to use YouTube as a way to document this and perhaps show other people how my lawn, you know, is transformed throughout the process. I had no idea where it was going to go, but I was going to film it and document it.
Now, had you had anything else? Like, did you do any other channels or any other kind of like projects that you put on YouTube, or you decided I got to show this?
So I did other stuff like car stuff. I was really into cars, so I filmed some stuff around that and posted that on YouTube. But really, when I got serious, it was really about my lawn. That's when I really got serious about, you know, having a regular schedule and really showing people regular updates and that kind of thing.
Right, because like that's what I told you. That's how I found you, between the 16 and the 20, and I got the 20, and it's been downhill ever since. In a good way.
Ever since.
Yeah. Well,
your life's been ruined.
When we first moved in 2001. I had a beautiful McLean. That's what my grandfather had, so I got a McLean, and it was fantastic. I go away on a work trip, and my 15-year-old, I had it for 3 weeks, and he forgot to put oil in it. So when I came back, I basically had a seized block of steel like it was done.
It's horrible. Oh man, I'm sorry. That's horrible.
So-
Well, hopefully he's okay.
The kid's fine,
Right.
and the lawnmower's dead. So that's where I went to the real 16 push mower,
Okay.
which is a huge difference. Like the McLean was like the Bentley of cutting grass for me, and then I just went to like a Yugo. So
I hear you. I
yeah,
hear you.
but it works.
Yeah.
The baby works. She cuts. I keep her sharp, and she's doing her thing, and that's all I
Nice.
need.
Yeah, yeah. But as far as YouTube, like things just kept progressing, man. Like kind of like how they are now, like how they've grown. The lawn started getting more, like getting better, and it being Bermuda, like you said at the outset, started getting more attention, and people just started asking more questions around what I was doing. So I just kept making the content, and eventually it grew into a business from a standpoint of like it was like last year or the first part of last year. I was using these fertilizers from like Lebanon Turf and other these other golf course industry products, and people started saying, oh well, it's great, your lawn looks great, but you're using all these products that we can't easily get our hands on, and it's cool, but it's not really something that's repeatable.
Right.
So in the off season, I said, okay, you know what, I'm going to fix that problem. I'm going to talk to different manufacturers and see if they'll allow the DIY community to have access to these products.
Wow,
And now
that's huge. To make that decision, that's big. I mean, like what? That's a big commitment on your part.
Sure. Yeah. Because I wanted to. I want people to have access to the same things that I did. I mean, I am really, really serious about creating great lawns and helping anyone that wants to watch get the best possible lawn. So it was a fair argument that I was using things that they couldn't easily get their hands on. So I, again, while Bermuda was like not growing very much, I did two things. I put together a course that teaches everything that I know about creating an amazing lawn, and then I also created a store, an online business, the Golf Course Lawn Store, that sells the very same products that you see me using on my lawn. So anyone that's in the course, they can literally get the products they need to be able to replicate the results that I have, as long as they're doing the work, as long as they're mowing and doing the part that I can't do for you.
Ron, that's huge, because there's nothing worse than when you're watching someone's channel and they're talking about, it could be anything, wood glue or fertilizer, and you're like, well, yeah, but I can't get my hands on that product. They don't have that at Ace, the hardware store. Like you've got the special stuff, so that means nothing to me. So for you to go out of your way and get manufacturers to like build something for the regular man, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was awesome. And it took a lot of work. Like Lebanon Turf is like, again, a company's huge to the professional turf industry. It was challenging to get them to decide that they would even, sell any of their products or allow us to sell any of their products directly to consumers. And, that took a lot of convincing. And then,
because when they're selling the golf courses, they're probably sending by, metric ton.
Oh yeah, pallets truckloads at a time, right? They're selling tons and tons of volume.
Yeah.
So for them, they had to decide. Well, one, do we even want our brand to be associated with DIY? And then second, there's another challenge, right? Like when it comes to shipping fertilizer, something like horrible things happen with shipping costs once you get to 50 pounds or higher.
Sure.
Right? So in addition to getting them to agree to it, they also had to get them to agree to bag the fertilizer in 45-pound bags so that shipping would be at a rate that was reasonable, so that consumers weren't paying $100 for a bag of fertilizer. So it was a huge ask, huge gamble on their part, but it's been working out really well. People have been responding really well to the product, so I'm happy that it's working out.
Did you have a little bit of creative, that creative bone in your body to make your YouTube channel grow visually as it has, or did you get help along the way?
Sure. So a lot of what's happened is just, again, being self-taught, like editing videos, understanding like what makes a good video, how to run a camera, how to get good audio. Like if you look at some of my older videos, like stuff that you watched, like was not very good. Like I've heard of stuff now, it's cringeworthy, It
really is, but I love the evolution.
Yeah. So just like anything else, like I'm like outside of YouTube and lawn care, like I do martial arts. So the challenge of always trying to improve and always pursuing improvement is something that's just kind of built into me, something I've just been doing for a while. So the lawn was looking great, but I also wanted like the content to look good. I wanted the video to look good, the audio to look good, and to where when people watch one of my videos, they're not just learning something, but it looks good and sounds good while they're doing it. It's also entertaining as well.
Yeah, no, I love, like, you can go back and people should just so you could see, like, it could be done. But your first couple of videos, you can see like the rolling shutter and like, all these goofiness that, that's the equipment you had. That's fine. No one expects you to go out and buy 10 grand worth of video gear to start off. But now you look at it and how it evolves. It is so clean. The audio's fantastic. The video's 1,000 times better. Even when you're sitting here and I'm looking at the Academy stuff, the gelled background and the blown out, shallow depth of field on the camera. I mean, you definitely know what you're doing now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. It's always, as far as like shooting different types of content, like whether I'm showing the lawn or just when I'm sitting doing talking head stuff, I understand it well enough now. Not by far not an expert, but I understand it well enough now to where I can create the look that I want. And it's really fun because it allows you to get a lot more creative with the content versus just hitting record and just, praying that what comes out looks decent. Right. Now I understand it well enough that I can actually create a look that I want and just, make something that's visually fun to watch for the viewers.
Was there somebody on YouTube you were watching, not that you would emulate, but you would kind of steal little pieces of ideas from what they did and you did?
Sure. So I would watch look at like a Peter McKinnon or Casey Neistat. Again, totally different niche.
Sure.
But the way they do their cut sequences and the way they incorporate B-roll and audio and like that was really cool. And I said, you know what? I want my content to look like that. I want the content to be something that is just fun. Even if you don't care about grass a ton, it's still fun to watch. So I look to those guys for a lot of inspiration because a big part of or challenge of YouTube is holding the audience's attention. And,
sure. I mean, you're talking about grass, for God's sake.
Right. You only make it so exciting, right?
Right, yeah.
So just watching what experts do in that space that are great at retaining an audience and hooking an audience, I just brought that to what I do in lawn care. And it's been getting better. I mean, this year is better than last year, and hopefully going forward, it'll just keep improving.
No, I mean, that's what I really enjoyed. And when I was putting this together, I wanted to have you on, is I loved the evolution. Like years ago, and I'm looking for a real mower, and I find you, and you pitched me, and I said, yeah, I'm going to go for it. I'll give Scott's a try. And then I still follow you now. I look at it and I go, damn, that's some good looking lawn. I love that stuff. Yeah, it looks great. I love your finding rocks in people's yards, and you're helping out your neighbors, and you're spraying stuff all over the place. I mean, that's fantastic, and it's silly because it's just grass, but it holds my interest.
Yeah. I always said that. I'm in my 40s now, and it's like, I said, I'm officially an old guy. Like I am now like one of these guys that's like always out mowing my lawn, out there fertilizing and doing stuff, and I said, I have become my parents, so right. But it's fun.
Yeah. All of a sudden you're just sitting there 3 days a week mowing your grass.
I am. Yeah. That is me out there and making content about mowing grass, which is even more geeky, right?
Yeah. I mean, at least your father was just cutting grass. Now you're actually recording yourself doing it and trying to pitch people like you could do this too. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I do my live stream on Friday nights where I sit down. If that's not enough, take people's questions about grass. So it's, yeah, the more I say it, the more I talk about it, the worse it sounds. So I hear myself. So.
It's actually the best because you're reaching and touching people that have, because if people don't know, Bermuda only grows in a certain region. Like you don't get it in Montana, Wyoming, Seattle. It's got to be like lower half of California down through the Arizonas, Texas, all the way to you. How north of would it get into Virginia, Bermuda? Would it get that high and grow well?
You could, but it's not. You're gonna have a really short season. So yeah, no, it wouldn't do well in Virginia. I mean, you can get it to grow, but you're talking about a really short season. I mean, in Georgia, Northeast Georgia, Bermuda wakes up in March, and then it will start going dormant in September, October. If you were to go much further north, like Virginia and much further north than that,
South
you're looking at
Carolina,
like a
North Carolina.
North Carolina. No, North Carolina's okay, but much northern Virginia, you're looking at like 3 month growing season, so it's a lot shorter.
Yeah, see, that's not worth it for somebody.
No. That's where cool season grass like a rye or a fescue would do a lot better.
Right.
You know?
And people do this wrong. You'll know, you're the man. What's the best time to water Bermuda of the day?
So I can tell you. So here's the thing. Now you're asking a question that there is religion for some people.
Yes.
I can tell you what I do, and I get a good result with. So for me, I like to water early in the morning, but right before the sun comes up, for a couple of reasons. That is when wind tends to be lowest, and the water's not going to sit on the grass long. That if you water, say do the opposite. So you water at the beginning of the night, so 7 or 8 p.m. The chances of you also promoting fungus problems goes up much more so than if you water at, say, 5 in the morning when you're giving it plenty of time for that water to soak in. But then the sun's going to be up here in a little while, and the turf's going to get to dry out a bit and resume it start its day. So for me, early in the morning watering is when I like to do it.
Okay. Yeah, because I know it is a religion with some people. They'll say, no, do it this time, do it that time. But, it's if you go 80% that way and do it at 5 a.m., you're going to be a lot better off than if you did it at noon, which I still see people do that. Hell, I see cities and counties do that, and I don't understand it. I'm always scratching my head, especially for us in California, they're saying save water. And then I drove through Anaheim the other day, and I saw sprinklers on at 11 a.m. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, that's evaporating in 15 minutes. That's what the hell's the point?
Exactly. You're wasting water. I mean, it's not going to really hurt the grass, but it's just not ideal. You're not going to get that deep penetration into the soil and really have it. You're not going to get the most out of your watering. So
right.
Early morning is I find to be best.
What are you on fertilizer? Are you on a seed guy or a spray guy? Which one do you prefer?
So I actually do both. So what I do is a program called spoon feeding where I use a granular fertilizer. Yeah, I know it gets even worse, right?
Yeah, it's just now we're babying the grass, Ron. Now we're just taking little spoons and giving it these little spots.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So once a month, my grass will get a granular fertilizer.
Once a month.
Once a month.
Wow.
So what I use is once a month I use a granular fertilizer, but I use very little. So I don't give it a ton of nitrogen. So a small amount that's going to release relatively quickly over 4 to 6 weeks. And then on top of that, I spray a liquid fertilizer that also has some micronutrients, some iron, at very, very low rates, extremely low rates at the beginning of the month. And then again on the 15th. The lawn gets fertilizer put on it really 3 times a month. So once at the beginning, it gets a granular and a liquid. And then in the middle of the month, it gets a very, very light liquid application. And what that does is it promotes a very consistent color and consistent growth. Because again, it sounds like I'm doing a lot, which I am. I'm out there more. But as far as the amount of nitrogen that I'm putting in the lawn, it's actually less. I'm putting less into it. There's less input actually going into the soil than if you went to say Home Depot and bought one of these fertilizers that feed the lawn for 3 months, if that makes sense. I'm putting less into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting because so many people probably only do it every 3 months, maybe twice a year. So to be doing it that often, that really tells you got to take care of your grass.
Yeah, I mean, and you can do it less frequently, but it's almost like, you know what it is? It's whenever you really start getting super hardcore into your turf, right? The small things matter more. It's almost like a bodybuilder. You look at people that are really into bodybuilding. For most of us, right, most normal people, we eat, maybe 3 meals a day, 2 meals a day. So that they're feeding their body just what it needs when it needs it. So it's the same thing with grass. It takes more time to do this, but you can ultimately get a noticeably better result by spoon feeding, using a spoon feeding program.
Right. All right. So let's talk about the one beast, the problem with all grass, and that's the weed. What do you do to keep that son of a bitch away from your beautiful grass?
So 2 things. If you can do pre-emergent, there's a specialized herbicide called pre-emergent.
Okay.
And it does exactly what it sounds like. It helps prevent weeds prior to them emerging. That's why it's called pre-emergent. And if you apply that in the spring and also apply it in the fall, you've now reduced the amount of weed problems you're going to have in your lawn by probably 90%. Just 2 applications, once in the spring, once in the fall, that's going to do a ton for keeping weeds at bay. So from a herbicide perspective, that's what I really recommend. From a cultural practices perspective, going back to that tip number 5, the last, but also the most important tip of frequent mowing, the more you mow your lawn, what that's also going to do is it's going to help promote like a denser or thicker turf, which is almost like it's like natural weed control. You know, you think about it, like weeds need sunlight, they need heat, they need sunlight, and they're able to germinate and to be able to take root. But when you have a really, really thick stand of grass, like the grass is getting the sunlight, it's getting the heat, but in many ways it's also crowding out or shading the soil. So the ability for roots, or for weeds rather, to be able to germinate and also to be able to take advantage of the resources, like that's diminished quite a bit, you know. And plus you got so much grass, the grass is able to outcompete the weeds for resources.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Pre-emergent and, you know, mow your grass a lot. That's like natural weed control.
So just chopping it down. Don't let it get ahead of don't let it come up.
Don't let it get ahead. And I really should qualify that, right? So mowing your grass at the correct height. So if you're mowing, say, fescue,
let's talk about
fescue.
that. What's the height for a good Bermuda?
Right. So Bermuda really does well at heights of 1.5 inches or lower. So the shorter you mow Bermuda, the better it's going to look. But here's the thing: it's catch-22. Like the lower you mow it, the more you have to mow it to keep it looking good. If that makes sense.
No,
so,
yeah, because she's going to grow in the summer.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, for warm-season grass like Bermuda or zoysia, if you can maintain those at like 1.5 inches or lower, they're going to do really, really well. Something like a St. Augustine or a turf-type tall fescue, those could tolerate being mowed or actually enjoy being mowed at heights of 4 inches or higher. Like those grasses enjoy tall growth. But like Bermuda in of itself, like if you mow it short, you mow it at 1.5 inches or lower, it becomes really, really dense and almost like a thick carpet. And weeds have a really hard time taking root in a lawn that's really mowed at the correct height and regularly.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's get rid of those damn weeds. So
weeds suck, man. Weeds
they
are terrible.
do. They suck. There's nothing worse. You look out and all of a sudden, hey, what are you doing in my grass? Get out of here. Now, is it bad to cut a weed out? Or are you kind of like, if you see it?
So I pull them. I tend to pull them. I try to keep herbicides off my lawn as much as possible.
Okay.
But like if I see like a small crabgrass is trying to take root or something like that, I'll just get out there and I'll weed it. I'll pull it out. I have like a weeding tool. It looks almost like a small lever that like I keep on my mower the entire time when I'm mowing. So while I'm mowing the lawn, if I see a weed there, I'm like, I'll just stop the mow and walk over and get the tool out and pull it out. And the tool does a great job of not damaging the turf and getting the weeds out, root system as well. So that's gonna do a lot for for keeping them at bay while also not stressing the grass by spraying a herbicide all over it.
Right. I love the fact that you now carry some kind of like sidearm on the side of your mower just to go after weeds. That's awesome.
Got to. When the weeds are there, you got to be ready to take them out, man. I don't want to walk back to the garage. I might miss them. I want to make it easy.
Yeah, where was it? I don't remember where the hell it was. Yeah, you don't need that problem.
So if you look at my No. So as far as weeds, So exactly, you have to look for it, you have to find it, and it's just convenient. If you make it easy, you're going to be more likely to go there and get the weeds out. So that's why I do that.
Is this your full-time job? Because for the love of God, man, you're on YouTube all over the place and you're promoting on your channels. I mean, you're a busy beaver.
I am, and it's actually not my full-time job. So I actually work in the information security space. That's what I do for like my day job. YouTube is something that I just do, mainly in the evenings when I've got a bit of free time. So a lot of the content you'll see, I'll film it on the weekends, or if I got like a short period of time between meetings, like I'll plan it that day. I'll say, hey, if I have like an hour here between this meeting, I'll get out here and film this really quick, and then edit in the evening times. But yeah, I'm incredibly busy. But YouTube is not yet a full-time job. It might become that eventually, but the channel's got to grow a bit more before I can get to that point.
Well, hopefully it will. Where can people find you? They want to know about lawn care. Where's the first place they should go?
Sure. So they can find me on YouTube. So youtube.com/Ron Henry.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they're interested in more structured information as far as like my course, there is the Golf Course Lawn Academy, which you can find at golfcourselawn.com. And I guess once you're all sold on my process and everything I do to get Bermuda looking awesome, you'll get over to the Golf Course Lawn Store, and that's where I have all my products. So yeah, YouTube is the gateway to spending entirely way too much time in your lawn mowing grass. You can have a ton of fun doing it, I promise.
Ron's pitching gateway drugs, and it's called Bermuda.
There you go.
That's not hey man, there's not a bad way to spend your day. If you're going to be outside cutting the grass and making it look pretty, there's worse things you could be doing, and that's fantastic.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. There are definitely worse ways to pass your time than doing that.
Right.
So, yeah.
Now the real question is, does the family appreciate the lawn?
They do. Yeah, they appreciate it whenever they get out there and just enjoy it. Whenever a company comes over, like, they enjoy hanging out in the lawn and just experiencing it. 'Cause that's why I do it. I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy the pursuit of making it look as good as I can. But really, when people come over and they're able to get out there and play lawn pool on it or play cornhole, those kinds of things, throw the football around, like that's what it's for. It's designed to be used. I mean, I know a lot of people think that my lawn is like this showpiece that no one ever steps on other than when I'm mowing it, but that's I can assure you that's not the case.
No,
not at all.
No, we take care of our lawn to use our lawn, not everybody on it.
That's right.
Well,
that's right.
I can't thank you enough for your time. To sit here and literally two guys talking about Bermuda grass. I mean, I don't know what my audience is going to be, but I don't care. I'm glad I finally got you on. This is great. I love my Bermuda grass. I love everything that goes about it. I'm glad that there's someone in Georgia who feels the same way.
Absolutely, man.
And if you ever bring the kids out to Anaheim, you let me know, and I'll buy you a beer for having you on the podcast. Because Ron, it's just been a pleasure. I'm a total geek when it comes to my Bermuda.
No, I appreciate it, man. It's awesome, making connections and having a viewer that, was watching content that was filmed years ago, and now we're getting to talk and meet in person. That's just one of the best parts about, this whole process is meeting new people and helping people on their journey. So I really enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, because of you, I bought a damn $100 Scott's lawnmower. So what do you know?
There you go.
I appreciate it, Ron. You have a good day. I appreciate it so much. I can't thank you enough.
No problem. Thanks again.
All right. Talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to my conversation with Ron Henry. If you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed it, please click the like button. You can always find all of our shows on the website at justagoodconversation.com.